Pat McLaughlin here from SnareDrumTV.com. This is episode 30. In this episode, I'm going to show you a great exercise to help you improve your buzz rolls and make them more sustainable. If you want free snare drum sheet music for this exercise, simply head over to SnareDrumTV.com, find episode 30, and underneath that video there's a big button that you can click that will take you straight to the snare drum sheet music for this exercise. Alright, so let's get into it. This exercise is it has a lot of steps to it, okay? There are 4 specific steps that you will go through in order to accomplish the goal of this exercise. The goal of this exercise is to get you comfortable with creating buzz roll strokes, okay? So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this. The first step is to take one hand. Doesn't matter which one, start with either your right or your left. We're going to get to both of them, okay? And you're going to start with the stick in the upward position. What you're going to do is you're going to make one stroke and allow the stick to naturally rebound until it comes to a stop. And what I mean by that is this. Okay? Stay totally relaxed. Let the stick do whatever it wants to do. Just allow it to bounce as many times as it needs to or as it wants to until it comes to a stop. Okay? And what we want to avoid here is completely throwing the stick into the head or the surface that we're playing on like this. Alright? We don't want that. We want this. Alright? So do that as many times with whatever hand you start with until you get comfortable with it. Once you're comfortable with that hand, do the same thing with the opposite hand. Okay? So on and so forth. In the next step, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to alternate hands. Okay? So that will sound like this. Okay? So work on that for a while, get comfortable with it, make sure that you're not tense or throwing the stick into the head, you're letting it naturally rebound until it comes to a complete stop. In step 3, we're going to do the same thing as in step 2, but we're going to move the notes a little bit closer together. Okay? And by doing that, by moving the hand strokes a little bit closer to each other, we're going to create a little bit of an overlap from one hand to the other. Okay? So while the right hand is still rebounding, the left hand is going to start. Okay? And it starts to create that overlay and sustaining buzz sound underneath. Okay? And that will sound like this. Alright? So do that for a long, long time, over and over and over again, until you can become consistent in it and really pay particular attention to make sure that both your hands sound the same when they come in. Okay? Finally, in step 4 of this exercise, we're going to play a measure of very slow 8th notes, followed by a measure of 8th note buzz roll. Okay? So the important thing to take note of here is that your hands stay with the same motion, okay, for the most part, the same stroke, alright? So, when you start playing the 8th notes, you can see how my hands are moving here, right? Then when you go to the buzz rolls, you'll notice that for the most part, my wrist is making the same stroke motion, okay? There's a primary stroke at the very beginning that creates the initial start of the buzz roll, and then from there on out, it's the natural rebound that we've been working to up until this point. Okay? So the 8th note stroke is what you want to be working on with this step. Okay? Again, step 4 looks like this. Alright? So that's the idea. And I should let you know that you should probably do this at about 3 to 4 inches off of the drum pad. If you do this too high, it's a little bit more difficult, so it's a really good learning process to actually do this low, okay? So keep that in mind as you practice this. All right? So that's it for this exercise, just those 4 steps. They can take you a very, very long time to get through and to feel comfortable with it. So don't feel any type of time constraint on this. Take your time, experiment with it as much as you want to, and always focus on the tone quality and the consistency of the buzz rolls and the strokes that you're creating with this exercise to set the foundation, the platform for next week's episode, or the next episode, which will allow us, or which will build upon, right? We'll make this more elaborate, and we'll talk about how to play buzz rolls in time with specific meters underneath and things like that, okay? So for this exercise, don't worry about playing it with the metronome. Focus solely on the tone quality and the buzz quality and the stroke quality of everything that you're doing throughout all 4 steps, okay? So that's it for this exercise. If you enjoyed it, thought it was helpful, please go send it to a friend or another drum buddy of yours via Twitter, Facebook, email, Google+, a drum forum that you're on, whatever you want to do. Help spread the word of Snare Drum TV, okay? And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time on Snare Drum TV.